UFC Vegas 103, Kape versus Almabayev. I'll give you my picks and predictions for the card. Before we get started, let's just recap last week's card, which I'll have Chris post a nice little graphic of it. We had a horrible week, 4-7 in predictions, but let's talk about it because easily could have gone above 500. Not the standard I want regardless, but two decisions that didn't go our way. First one was Julius Walker. I mean, we picked him as an underdog to beat Minifield, ends up losing a decision that he very much should have won. He won 2 rounds in that. It was a close fight, but should have won 2 rounds. And the other one was Matsumoto versus Rob Font, where we picked Matsumoto and ended up losing a split decision as well. How did he win round 1? I still don't understand that. He was wobbled, he was hurt. Matsumoto easily got the better of the exchanges. Very confused there. Regardless, just a flat out very bad card for me, to be honest. And I still haven't yet I have yet to find my footing so far in this year with the UFC. So gonna be looking to bounce back. I mean, if you know I've been doing this for a long time now, aside from TikTok, which I started in September of 2023. I've been doing this for years prior to that, so I'm not stressed, I'm not worried. It's a rough start to the year. I'm sure we're going to bounce back with predictions and the bets as well. Speaking of bets, there will be 2 videos out now during the week. First one will be predictions, the next one will be strictly bets. I don't know if I'm going to do every single bet, obviously, because I do have a Discord where I post not only that, but every other sport. I have moderators who cover other sports as well as the UFC. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to go about it, but going to give you my thoughts on how I see certain fights go, and we'll go from there because it's obviously going to be the first bets video that we'll post starting obviously for this March card and moving forward. So we'll have 2 videos a week, but regardless of that, like I said, Kape versus Almabayev. Let's get started. It's going to be a fun card, to be honest. There's 12 fights on the slate. I have a few underdogs, a few plus 3.5 spreads that I like, but let's get to it. First fight of the night is Montana De La Rosa versus Luana Carolina. We'll get to the odds a little later, but obviously both coming off of wins. Luana is an inch shorter, but does have an inch reach advantage and a 1.5 inch leg reach advantage. I think this is going to be very key to beating someone like De La Rosa, because De La Rosa, regardless of just winning her last fight, it was a split decision win where she was an underdog. But she beat Andrea Lee, and let's be honest, we'll talk about Andrea Lee later in the card. She's not that good. I mean, prior to that 3-fight losing streak, granted, Macy Barber, Tatiana Suarez, JJ Aldrich, all very good fighters, but just couldn't get the striking going. Her striking looks extremely weak. And then Luana Carolina, who is on a 3-fight win streak, after dropping 2, won that brutal knockout against Molly Can. We're going to call her Can, not McCann. And Joanne Wood was a split decision, but 3 solid wins, to be honest. I mean, her striking is just looking very crisp. We know what De La Rosa is going to want to do in this fight, and it's going to be take her down. But the beauty about Luana Carolina is that she has a 74% takedown defense. There's not really many fighters that are really able to hold her down, and she's usually fighting shorter fighters. Now, she has the 1-inch height disadvantage here, which might be good because De La Rosa is obviously going to be pressuring her, pushing her on the cage, trying to land singles. Because Luana is going to be shorter, she's going to be a little more guarded down, and I think that honestly that will play into her favor. Granted, she also has the leg and arm reach advantage, which is going to help her trying to just stick that jab cleanly against someone like De La Rosa, who just can't stop that for her life. Like I said, her striking is pretty weak. So honestly, I do like Luana Carolina here. It's a pretty close fight in terms of the odds. Where is she? She's actually second here. She's minus 140 on FanDuel, pretty much in every other book similarly. So honestly, I like Carolina to get it done here by decision. Next fight on the card, we have Energy Charles Johnson versus Ramazan Temirov. Now, Energy, obviously, he has a 5-inch height advantage, which is pretty insane. 7-inch reach advantage and a 4-inch leg reach advantage. Now, Energy has been on a roll lately. He's won 4 straight. I mean, all pretty damn decisive, especially that win against Joshua Van, where obviously starts off slow as always and then just picks it up, consistently picks it up. That jab is sticky, and he's fighting someone, Temirov, who only has one fight in the UFC, which was a brutal knockout against CJ Vergara. And he's kind of on a finish streak. Won 4, 5 straight by TKO, all in the first round. So just to keep this as brief as possible, we all know how this is going to play out, or similarly play out. Temirov is going to have the heavier, faster hands earlier. CJ knows that he's in the fight at all times. So that first round is going to be scary. Likely CJ is going to lose that first round, which is always my fear with betting on Charles Johnson, is you're already a round down. So it really depends on the opponent and how they will respond to your cardio at that point. Now, we don't have that much film on Temirov in terms of, let's just say, better competition, because Charles Johnson is ranked now, and well deserved, because he's beating very good opponents. Undefeated, Jake Hadley, who was talking shit, Joshua Van, and then Sumo Darji. I can't even say his goddamn name. All very good wins. A fighter night and the performance of the night. Regardless of all that, I still do think that Temirov has the cardio, given just some other prior experience. Obviously not as good competition, but he might have the cardio to pull through with those second and third rounds. Now, obviously, having Charles Johnson by round 2 or 3 is probably the best way to go in terms of a bet. But the reason why I just don't like it fully is because he's a favorite, and Temirov is an underdog. Except on FanDuel, where he's minus 138, he's minus 105 on DraftKings, BetUS plus 100. I'll take Temirov at dog odds. I think that's kind of a steal with someone like Charles Johnson, who tends to start off slow. Granted, he is also on a 4-fight win streak, all with solid or decent experience. So I'm going to go with the dog here, but it's not something where I'm very confident in it, obviously, because you can never count out someone like Energy. But give me Temirov to win this by TKO decision. Obviously, Charles Johnson does have the chin, but you never know. Everyone can get clapped sometimes. So give me Temirov to win by TKO or decision, first dog of the night. Now, next fight, I'm not even going to spend too much time on. Andrea Lee's on a 30-fight losing streak. Now, she has a 1-inch height advantage, cool, 2-inch reach advantage, and same leg reach. But like I said, Andrea KGB Lee, I swear to God, hasn't won from like 2 presidents ago. She's riding, Jesus Christ, she's riding a 5-fight losing streak. She's lost 9 by decision, including all 5 of the ones that she just lost. I mean, all right, she lost to De La Rosa, which was a split, kind of. I feel like De La Rosa won 2 rounds. Lost to Miranda Maverick, obviously Natalia Silva, Macy Barber, Arujo. Now, JJ Aldrich obviously falls under the, I would say she falls under the Miranda Maverick tier. Macy Barber and Natalia Silva are just a little higher, but she falls under the Miranda Maverick tier. And she's better than Montana De La Rosa, to be honest. JJ Aldrich is pretty underrated, I would say. She nothing special in there. She did just lose to Veronica Hardy last year, which was her last fight, but she did beat Montana De La Rosa and Na Liang, where Na Liang came guns blazing as always and just gets smoked after because she has no cardio. She has some losses that obviously, I mean, Ariana Lipsky and Erin Blanchfield, they're not bad. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to think too much of this one. This is a fight that I'm really not going to bet on. It's going to go to decision. Andrea Lee just doesn't throw enough. She's old. She's on a 5-fight losing streak. I think she's just trying to fight out her contract, and then she's just going to go out of her way and go to the GFL or something. So give me JJ Aldrich to win this by decision. Next fight, Danny Silva versus Lucas Almeida. Now, Danny Silva's 9-1. They both have the same height. Lucas Almeida does have the 1-inch reach advantage and 2-inch leg reach advantage, which I think are going to be critical in this fight as well, to be honest. But we'll run through them too. Lucas Almeida, 15-3. He's 34. He's getting up there in age. 2-2 in the UFC. Did pick up a solid win against Kawamba, which is also 0-2 now in the UFC, which is kind of sad. I always thought Kawamba was gonna do a little bit more than that, but I think he has like one more fight to prove himself. Honestly, Almeida's solid. I mean, when we just look at his strike differentials too, he's throwing. Those 2 wins that he has, obviously we were not going to count that contender series against Daniel Zellhuber. That was years ago. But you can see like he has the power in his hands. 2 knockdowns against Trezano and then a knockdown against Kawamba. Obviously those 2 losses that he has were by finish. I mean, Andre Fili has the hands. He has the longer range, so it makes sense for that style of fight. And Sabatini's a savage on the ground. So both those losses really aren't that bad. Danny Silva's still pretty unproven. A contender series win where they were just going at it. He clearly won that, but it was a bar fight pretty much against Angel Pacheco. And then beat Culibao by split. Culibao threw more. Danny Silva landed 4 takedowns and had a sub attempt. I don't know. I'm not sold on Danny Silva yet. I think someone gets finished. I just can't take Danny Silva at minus 184. A split decision against Culibao because he just wasn't throwing enough. We know that when Almeida's on. He's going to be constantly throwing. And I think that leg reach advantage and arm reach advantage are going to be crucial because he's going to be popping that jab, a lot of teep kicks. He wants to stay away from someone like Silva, who's going to try to pressure him, put him on the cage, take him down. I mean, he needs a very decisive win. He hasn't really gotten that yet. And Almeida needs a win as well, obviously. So I think someone does go down. I just can't trust someone like Danny Silva at this price in this point of their careers. I'll go with someone that has more experience. Granted, he's a little older, but he's not like he's 40. So I'll take Lucas at dog odds. Plus 142 is not bad. Plus 180 on DraftKings, not bad. This is another one where on DraftKings, if you take plus 3.5 spread, probably would lean that way as well. So that's probably where I'm gonna go. But like I said, I think someone can get finished here. I think Danny Silva can get absolutely smoked here. So give me Lucas Almeida to win this by TKO or decision. And like I said, DraftKings plus 3.5 spread will likely be around minus 130. Not a bad straight to take either. But like I said, give me Lucas Almeida to win by TKO or decision. Second dog of the night. These dogs are going to kill me. Next fight, Douglas Silva de Andrade versus John Castañeda. Now, Andrade is a year older. I was going to say way older than that, but he's an inch taller. He does have the 2.5 inch reach disadvantage, but he has a half-inch leg reach advantage. Now, Castañeda, 4-3 in the UFC. I mean, 5 of his 7 losses have come by decision. Just lost to Daniel Marcos earlier last year. I mean, standard solid fighter, did choke out Miles Johns a few years ago, which is pretty impressive. Or Daniel Marcos was just obviously doing Daniel Marcos things. He was just outpointing him, and then, he's slowly starting to come around to his power, and he was able to hurt Castañeda a few times in that fight. Castañeda is another one where he beat Ho Kang. He threw 111 strikes, 3 takedowns. I mean, that was like his key moment in the UFC. But Douglas, just lost to Miles Johns in June. Beat Cody Stamann. Not that impressive. Cody Stamann did have a knockdown in that fight. Lost to Saeed. He's so wishy-washy at this point, and this is just another fight that I'm just not too interested in, especially at these odds, minus 235 for Castañeda on FanDuel, minus 300 basically on DraftKings. This is one of those where I'm just I'd rather just sit out from this fight. I'm not interested at all, but I'll go with the younger fighter. Like I said, Castañeda is 33, Silva's 38, 39. I'll go with the younger fighter. I think this is one of those where they're going to be going back and forth. I can see a 29-28, maybe a one scorecard's 30-27 for Castañeda, where he just does more. It's one of those where it feels like it's going to be boring, and not worth my time or my money, really. But I think he's just going to have a lot more output against an older fighter. So, yeah. So, give me John Castañeda to win this by decision. Next fight. Ricardo Ramos versus Chepe Mariscal. Now, I'm a massive Chepe fan. I think he's a fucking savage. I faded him one time, and I swear to God, I'll never do it again. It was, everyone just keeps yapping around me. Being around this for so long in your life, people start telling you their opinions and what what you think about this, and then you start overthinking things. I overthought it. I'll never do that shit again. I'll literally never fade Chepe again unless given like a beautiful opportunity. And for some people, this might be the one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Ricardo Ramos, 2 inches taller, 3-inch reach advantage, 2-inch leg reach advantage. Ramos is not a scrub. I mean, and I'm saying all of this now because of what those odds say. Because those odds are kind of tweaking. And I hate that it's like that. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Ramos, 8-5 in the UFC. He's been in the UFC for a hot minute. Just won a split to Josh Kulabau. These splits against Josh Kulabau, man. But did get gilly choked by Rosa and Jourdain back-to-back fights. Now we know Jourdain, all around, pretty decent fighter. Rosa is a Rosa, so he really needed this win against Kulabau. Split is, yeah, you could call it a split, I guess. Kulabau did throw more, had the knockdown. I mean, yeah, I don't know. He should have honestly lost this fight too. And I think that's probably why the odds are the way they are, because had he lost that fight, he dropped 4 of his last 5 or 5 of his last 7 or some shit like that. Yeah, pretty much. Had he lost that fight. But regardless, nothing too impressive. He's going to be kicking the shit out of you as many times as possible. The beauty about someone like Chepe is he will return it right back. He does not give a fuck. He's 4-0 in the UFC. 2-3 by decision. One split that I never should have fucking bet against him. And a TKO against Jack Jenkins, which was nice, but Jack Jenkins did get hurt, whatever. But he was beating his ass. I don't care what anyone says. He was beating his ass. He just looks so good in there. Like, he's just so scrappy, and he's just in your face. Now, the beauty about Chepe is that he doesn't care about getting hurt, or getting hit, I should say. So he's going to lean into that with Ricardo, because Ricardo does have all the advantages in terms of reach, where Ricardo's going to be trying to kick him to the body, kick his legs early, because Chepe is obviously just nice and stocky and small and with big fucking blockhead. Like, this is his body, and then this is his head. So he's obviously like going to want to just kick the hell out of him. But Chepe is not afraid. He's going to just go into it like a dog. He does not give a fuck. And he's just going to just try to take his head off. Now, like I said, Ramos is a tough dude. I mean, he's just out here getting choked out. I don't think Chepe chokes him out. I think he can land some takedowns, beat him up. My one issue with this fight is that Chepe is a minus 480. I never thought I'd see Chepe have a minus 480 in his name. Because Ricardo, like I said, isn't a scrub. So this is my first red flag fight, I should say. Because I'm going to go Chepe. But I wouldn't bet on it. I would not put him in a parlay. This is an insane price. They're acting like Chepe is fucking like number 5 in the world or something. I wouldn't touch this fight, to be honest, unless it was a prop. And like I said, I don't think he finishes Ramos. I think he has a clean out 29-28, 30-27 win, and he just wins pretty decisively. So give me Chepe Mariscal to win by decision. Now, next fight, Austen Lane versus Mario Pinto. Now, Austen Lane is a tall motherfucker. He's 6'6", 80-inch reach, 44 leg reach. Obviously, they don't have much on homie over here. Pinto Beans, he's 26. He's 6'5", so he's an inch shorter. 80-inch reach, same fucking reach. We don't have his leg reach, so I mean, only the UFC pretty much provides that. But he's from Portugal, from Dana White Contender Series. I mean, he's scary, and this is the beauty about him. He's gone to decision, so I'm not even gonna go too crazy into this fight because I think he wins. Austen Lane's gonna be looking to try to take him down, but he's gonna get chinned. Austen Lane's not built for this no more. He won against Despain. Now you would think, okay, Despain is people probably came into that fight the same way, like, oh, as soon as Austen Lane tries to fucking take him, Despain's just gonna go back on his back foot and just fucking smack him with his hand. Because pretty much that's how he won his first fight. I mean, just nasty, sloppy. And then he comes in and he just fucking, he's like, I don't give a fuck about your power, dude. I'm gonna just like take you down. 3 takedowns. I'm gonna take you down. And how many did he attempt? 8? Not bad, to be honest. The control time, he had 9 minutes of control. That's what he's going to want to do against someone like Pinto Beans, because Pinto Beans got some fucking power to him. Had the knockdown, obviously, against Camacho. Now, the thing is, I don't know if I can take Pinto by TKO, just in case. So I'm going to go double chance here, and the odds are kind of gross. Pinto Beans is minus 430. No, that's horrible, but Austen Lane sucks. So, sorry. I don't know what happened. I think the fucking Holy Ghost just came at me. It was just like, don't bet on Pinto. But we're going to go Pinto regardless of the odds. The odds are gross, but I just think that he has the power. I think that Austen Lane's going to come with the same game plan that he did with the Spain, try to take him down. It's going to work against him. I think Pinto can get a late finish, if not a decision. Like I said, he's patient. He doesn't care about trying to take your head off early. I mean, it's preferable, but there's not really much coming his way, so I don't think he's going to be too hesitant. Had he been fighting a Tafa, even though that might have been an easier fight, or, someone with a lot more power, initial power, he'll be a lot more hesitant, or he'll just try to just take you out early. Someone like Austen Lane, you can kind of play with your food a little bit. So I'm going to go Austen Lane to lose this fight. I'm going to go Mário Pinto to win this by TKO or decision. Alright, next fight is Danny Barlow versus Sam Patterson. Now, Danny Barlow is an inch shorter, but he does have an inch reach advantage and 1 inch leg reach disadvantage. So kind of weird the way this works right here, because they're both tall as fuck, to be honest. But as we all know, even though it's only an inch reach, that reach advantage is going to be very tremendous for someone like Danny Barlow. 9-0, 2-0 in the UFC. Picked up a massive win against Josh Quinlan, where he was just beating the hell out of him, and then finished him in the 3rd round. And then a split decision where he came in kind of fat against Nikolai. We saw Nikolai lose last week. It is what it is. The power is just there for someone like Danny Barlow. Now, he was a little hesitant against Nikolai, but we saw against, obviously, Raheem Forrest in Contender Series, as well as the fight against Josh Quinlan. He's just going to throw at you. I mean, landed 70s. He landed 51% of his significant strikes, 95 out of 185. He's just constantly throwing. I mean, his fucking name is Left Hand. His nickname's Left Hand of God. And so, someone like Sam Patterson, who's going to be an inch taller, he is 3-1 or 2-1 in the UFC, I should say. That first loss after Contender Series was against Yanal, because Yanal absolutely wrecked him. And he's managed to get 2 sub wins since then, both in the first round. I'm going to go Danny Barlow here. I think Sam Patterson hasn't seen this type of power since Yanal. And I think obviously they're training him to make sure that he knows that he needs to stay the fuck away from him. But that left hand finds his way again. I mean, just everything about Danny Barlow's power is crazy. I think he doesn't even need to get a clean shot off for him to hurt you. And I don't think he gets subbed here. I mean, Sam Patterson has 100% takedown accuracy. I think that's pretty elite, but obviously he's not trying to just take people down all the time. I don't know. I don't like this fight for Sam Patterson, honestly. I think Danny Barlow's just going to be able to find his range and find that shot to just put him down, honestly. Now, odds aren't too bad for this fight, to be honest. Danny minus 320 on FanDuel. I mean, kind of gross, to be honest. Not a terrible parlay piece. Would I want to parlay it? Probably not. But minus 320 is not that bad. Minus 300 on DraftKings. Like I said, pretty standard. I think he just clips him and he finds it. He finds the shot that he needs. So give me Danny, left-handed God Barlow to win by knockout or TKO. Now, next fight, Hyder Amil versus Will Gomis. Hyder Amil, 10-0. He's going to be much shorter in there and has the 3-inch reach disadvantage and a 4-inch leg reach advantage. So we know how this is going to have to play out. Hyder Amil is going to have to just get in his fucking face as soon as possible. Because Gomis likes to move a lot. He loves to move a lot. And he's going to have to against someone like Amil. Will Gomis, 14-2. He's 4-0 in the UFC. That split against Brito, I mean, questionable as fuck. Questionable as fuck. I mean, still to this day, I'm like, how the fuck did he win? But, you know, those takedowns, I mean, Brito had 2 sub attempts. How many attempts? He attempted 6 takedowns, landed 3, 2 sub attempts. 6 minutes and 40 seconds of control. Gomis had almost 4 minutes of control too, so that plus the strikes, outstriking him, you know, could have gone either way, to be honest. Did outstrike him or outland him only in the 3rd round. And that was the decider. I mean, you can go and argue that it was 1-1 already going to the 3rd. So, can't be too mad about that. But he's facing someone in Amil, who's 2-0 in the UFC, both by TKO. Did pick up, obviously, his decision for Contender Series, but the power is there. Like, the power is fucking there. We saw it against Fernie, where Fernie, obviously, I believe came in fat. Regardless, doesn't matter. And Lee, I mean, the power is there. Honestly, I like the kid. I call him kid. He might be older than me. He probably is. I like him a lot, to be honest. He has the tools to, like, I feel like he just hasn't been able to put it all together yet. Then once he does, he's going to be scary as fuck. And I'm not, against someone like Gomis doesn't really, he's not out here just throwing anything at you or yeah, he's technical, but he's hesitant. And Amil is that type of fighter that I feel like could find that shot before. He's going to be digging to the body a lot. I mean, he has all the disadvantages here, so he's going to have to get in close. It's the only way. Gomis does have a 70-inch takedown defense. 70-inch. 70% takedown defense. But regardless, I mean, 2 split decisions, 3 decisions out of 4 wins. I'm not loving it, to be honest. I'm really not. And the odds, and this is what I was saying, I have a graphic, and I didn't put the dog on Hyder Amil because he's an underdog. Plus 176 on FanDuel from plus 164. And like I said, DraftKings plus 3.5 spread is the way to go. I'm taking Hyder Amil to win this by TKO decision. Like I said, I think he can find the shot. This is not in fucking France. You're not getting any split decision wins over here, so give me Hyder Amil, the dog, to win this by TKO or decision. All right, next fight. Nasrat versus Esteban Ribovics. Now, same height. Nasrat does have the 3-inch reach advantage and the 2-inch leg reach advantage. This is going to be a fun fight, arguably like fight of the night, to be honest, because both of these dudes are absolute dogs and they're savages. Nasrat, 9-4 in the UFC. He's on a 4-fight winning streak. Beat McDessie. Cool. I mean, whatever. Beat Quinones. This is the second card I've ever done on TikTok where he beat Quinones, which was a very fun fight. TKO'd Malarkey and then had a split decision against Jared Gordon. He landed 146 strikes against Jared Gordon to 141. I mean, he's throwing all output, baby. Against Quinones, 171. He threw 377 strikes. I mean, he's throwing. His takedown accuracy is garbage, but his takedown defense is very good. Like I said, King Green is hilarious. He's thrown. I mean, he knows the type of fight this is going to be, and against like this style of matchup, he's understands that output is a lot to do, especially against someone like Ribovics, who we've seen the power that comes out of that boy's arms. Because he's 3-1 in the UFC, not including the Contender Series, obviously. Lost his first fight, 3-fight winning streak. That head kick to Terrence McKinney was brutal. And then a split decision where we bet on Ribovics as a dog against Zellhuber. It just absolutely did everything. I mean, the power was there. He was just wowing. He was throwing everything at Zellhuber. Zellhuber can't move for his life sometimes. Gets a little overzealous. But Ribovics just absolutely was able to do everything in there correctly. Now, this is going to be another dog fight. A dog fight. And I'm scared because Ribovics at minus 280. Ribovics at plus 280 was very nice. But at minus 280 against someone like Nasrat, who has the chin, has homie been knocked out before? He was knocked out once to Drew Dober right before the pandemic. It's been 5 years. There's just, he has a chin. He's been hit before. It's not the first time. He's been hit before. We saw Jared Gordon landed 141 strikes on him. Obviously, the power is going to be way more on Ribovic's side, but Nasrat with the reach advantage, and I think he's just going to have a lot more output in there where it's going to be closer than what people think. So I'm going to go Nasrat to win this just because he's a dog. So fuck it. I can see Ribovics winning this 100%, but I just think it's going to be really close. Like, it's going to be really, really close. I don't see Ribovics landing that head kick knockout or just like anything. Obviously, the power is going to be there, but Nasrat will throw back, and I think it's going to level out and get the respect that he needs in order to just have this fight continue the way he wants it to. And at those odds, I might have to bet him straight up, to be honest. Plus 210, plus 230 on DraftKings. Not bad, to be honest. Give me Nasrat to win this by decision. I don't think anyone gets finished, per se. Damn, 2 dogs in a row. This is bad. For someone who's coming off a bad week, this is probably not the way I should go. I should probably just go all favorites, right? But that's just not how I roll. But this is another one where I'll go plus 3.5 spread, 100%. Plus 3.5 spread is not bad at all for this. His odds for that, it might be like minus 110 because of the finishing power that Ribovics has, that they probably don't even think it goes to a decision. But if I were to bet on someone to win, especially if there's like a finishing aspect to it, and I can also win if he wins by decision or loses a close fight, it's going to be Nasrat. Honestly, unless I'm looking at this fight completely wrong, But yeah, I like Nasrat to win this by decision or plus 3.5 spread on DraftKings. Book it. Co-main event. I'm not even going to talk too much about this fight. This fight sucks, dude. Why is this a co-main event? Julian Marquez is 2 inches taller, same reach. Brundage has a 1-inch leg reach advantage. Let's talk about Cody Brundage as a co-main event. 4-5 in the UFC, and I'll be so honest with you, he has lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his last 7 fights. I know it says different things on here, but he's lost those 3, and then he lost to Malkoun because Malkoun was beating his ass. He almost lost to Zachary Reese, but he did something very well, and he fucking slammed Zach Reese to the Shadow Realm, so I'll give him that. Then he lost to Bo Nickel, and then he lost to Al Hassan because he's on some bullshit. And now he's fighting Julian Marquez, who Julian Marquez also is on a 3-fight losing streak, all by fucking getting smoked in the face. So yeah, it could be bad. This fight's going to be disgusting. I'm not going to bet on this fight. I know the odds are close. I don't even want to talk about this fight that much, to be honest. Like I said, Marquez, 3-fight losing streak, all by TKO. Just lost to Zachary Reese the same way. Zachary Reese. Cody Brundage. Look at this. Look at all these grays. Ugh. I'm I'm going to go Julian Marquez to win this by TKO or decision. He's a slight favorite here. Like I said, I'm not going to waste my time and waste your time on this. He's minus 174 on FanDuel. Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to go Cody. Minus 140 on DraftKings. Look at this. What the this looks like fucking like little bullshit crypto fucking stocks. Yeah, no. We're not betting on this fight. Now, I'm going to go Julian Marquez to win by TKO or decision. This is also my second red flag fight that I put on top of the graphic. Red flag fight. I'm going to go by TKO or decision. I think he can finish Brundage. Brundage doesn't have a chin. They both don't have chins. But if it gets to somewhere after the second round and they're both tired of trying to kill each other, I can see Marquez just, doing enough to maybe win a decision, or it can get to a decision. I know the over-under for this fight's probably over 1.5, which isn't bad. People think they're going to get finished quick because they both can get finished quick, but now they're facing each other, so it's kind of like an enigma. You're just like, what is it? An immovable force stops it, or an immovable object stops an unstoppable force or something, or meets an unstoppable force. I haven't been to school in a few years. I apologize. But yeah, we're going Julian Marquez to win by TKO decision. Fuck that fight. Main event, Manel Kape versus Almabayev. Now, Manel Kape is an inch taller. Look at these little fellas, huh? 5'5" and 5'4". That's cute. 1 inch taller, 3-inch reach advantage, and a 3-inch leg reach advantage. All very necessary for someone like Manel Kape to win this fight, because Almabayev is going to be trying to get on his ass. We bet at Bruno's, Manel Kape was a parlay of the week not that long ago, December, where he beat Bruno Silva and he obliterated him. But aside from that, I mean, listen, 5-3 in the UFC, lost to Marquez, fine, but before that, riding a 4-fight win streak. His losses to Nicolau, I was thinking of Michelob, Nicolau and Pantoja, not bad. I mean, listen, someone like Almabayev, though, is going to be a little scary. He's 21-2, 4-0 in the UFC. There's a lot of upside here. Beat Ode Osborne, CJ Vergara, Jose Johnson, and Nicolau. Nicolau's not bad, but 2024 Nicolau is pretty shitty. So, obviously, not too much to go off of that. This is easily his hardest test. Was supposed to fight Urseg, Nascimento. Now he has Manel Kape. Now, the beauty about Manel Kape is that he has a 77% takedown defense, which is going to be critical in this fight because Almabayev is going to be trying to take him down. He averages 5 takedowns a fight, and he gets 50, which means that he's averaging 10 takedown attempts a fight. He got 9 against CJ Vergara, 6 against Jose Johnson, 1 against Nicolau, and 2 against Ode Osborne. Now, 3 straight decisions. We know he can go 3. Can he go 5? We're going to have to see. Manel Kape could go 5. He has the cardio. He has the movement to continue that. Does he have the takedown defense to go all 5? I think so, to be honest. I think that he has the cardio to be able to just level out anything Almabayev throws his way. Almabayev is going to want to take this down. If he gets stuffed those first 2 rounds, I think he's cooked. And I think Manel Kape just puts on an absolute masterclass on him. Just beats him up for 5 rounds, to be honest. Just a clean win for Manel Kape. Now I could see the Almabayev, line here, because he is a plus 186. So there's a lot of value for someone like Almabayev being 4-0. I still like Kape in this situation, or in this fight, to be honest. I just don't see much danger aside from the takedowns, but we know Manel Kape, even if Almabayev has a single, Manel Kape will have the balance. He'll have everything he needs to do to make sure he doesn't get on his ass. And I think he can pull out a win here, to be honest. So give me Manel Kape to win this by decision. And that concludes UFC Vegas 103, Kape versus Almabayev. Let's change things around this week. All right. I've had way too many mid-UFC. Obviously, before this card that we just had, we went 9-3 on predictions with some dogs. Could have been 10-2, to be honest. Let's go back to that. We picked 4 dogs. I thought it was 3. We picked 4 dogs on this card. It's going to be a fun Vegas event. Like I said, we will have another video out with strictly betting and how I will view certain fights and how I will want to tackle some of those fights. Just trying to see if there's some cancellations, regular UFC things. But I appreciate everyone who has subscribed. Like I've said before, once we get to 500, I will be doing a giveaway. I'll be giving out a lot of money to a lot of different people. I could do a big giveaway to one person, but I feel like I prefer to just distribute it to a few people. I mean, I'd rather give 50 to 4 people or 5 people than 250 to one person, because I feel like $50 still is a lot. So regardless, please make sure you sub, obviously like, comment your favorite fight of the night, who you think win, who is a lock in your eyes. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Let's keep cashing.